Digimon and anime in general are produced in Japan. Japan is truly a beautiful, artistic and unique country. If you are watching something that was produced in a country with such rich culture, you are welcoming that culture in your life and learning about it. But if you modify one thing after another, strip away the symbolism, change the dialogues and twist everything to make it fit into your comfort zone, in the end there is nothing left of that culture for you to explore, and the final product no longer feels foreign. It feels like everything else produced in your country, and thus, once again, you are back in that bubble I talked about in my sub versus dub video. I personally think that censorship is f***ed up. If you are a horror movie fan like I am, you know what those movies are about. If you don't like them, you want to rent them, or you will change the channel when you see them on TV. Same goes for anime like Berserk or Tokyo Ghoul. You watch the trailer or you read reviews and you make a conscious decision to watch them. In the eyes of censorship, these anime have problematic scenes throughout the entire run of the episode, so the easiest job would be to move their airtime to a time slot more suitable for their target audience. If there are topics dealing with religion, sex, violence, etc., maybe that content is not made for young children, so don't air it in the morning for them to see. If the reasoning goes something like, this is animated, so it goes to the made for children category, then that's a whole other problem us anime fans know a lot about. How many times have you had to explain to your friends that you are not watching a cartoon? Adapting and localizing a foreign product is sensitive business. You have to think about how to bring that foreign culture to the domestic audience in a way they understand it, but not change too much so that it loses its uniqueness. In case of Digimon, the whip of censorship was a bit too harsh for the first couple of seasons, stripping entire storylines and lore, but eventually it slowed down. This is also due to the progress of human civilization. The world we were born in no longer exists. We are constantly evolving and opening discussions on more topics as we grow as society. While once it was considered easier to sweep controversial topics under the rug, today we talk about them openly. This video will explore the changes made in the Digimon franchise because of censorship, how they happened and why, and could have they been avoided. Let's start with the mother of controversy. This type of censorship is everywhere. Films, movies, music videos, if you put sex in it, you will get censored. In anime, this topic speaks the most about cultural differences. From magical girl and drama to horror, you won't find a genre in anime that doesn't have a considerable amount of sexual representation. It might be hidden in plain sight or out in the open, but it's definitely there. While anime gets censored for it, Disney still gets away with their hidden sexual messages in their movies. Just Google Disney sex references and you'll know what I mean. The target audience for anime in Japan for certain explicit anime is the same as in the West, but the difference is that these two parts of the world have a different approach. By watching anime, you are opening yourself to those different views. If a company buys the rights to air an anime in their country, they should be aware of this. With Digimon, the censorship related to sex affected both audio and video, but also storylines. Do you remember the scene when the main protagonists get a ride by Sora's cousin? Well, that was made up. It was a complete stranger, but showing children get into a car with a stranger was sending the wrong message. Rookie from Digimon Tamers was originally 10 and her mother was 28, which means she had her when she was 18. In the dub, the age of Rookie or Rika was changed to 13, but her mother's age remained the same. That means she was only 15 when she gave birth. Is teen pregnancy better for censorship, or did they just make a mistake? While it is generally accepted that Digimon have no gender, it is pretty obvious that some Digimon have male or female bodies and personalities. Then there is Lord Nightmon, the most fabulous Digimon, who went from a male personality to female in the dub. Because you know, children have to understand that boys wear blue and girls wear pink. A similar thing happened to Lopmon in Digimon Tamers when he went from a male personality, as called by his tamer, to a she in the dub. To be fair, this seemed to be a result of a communication error between companies when the dub was being worked on. Religion is to this day a sensitive subject. In Digimon, they tried hard to prevent children from getting exposed to a religion they are not familiar with, like Buddhism. An example for this is a scene in Adventure 01 when Joe and Sora are facing a bunch of Bakemon. Joe guessed since Bakemon are ghost-type Digimon, a sutra chant might work to lower their power, and to their surprise, it did. In the dub version, however, Joe did chant something.
Bakemon lose your power. Bakemon lose your power.
One of the most popular changes is one I also mentioned in the sub versus dub video, and that's the change in the name from Omegamon to Omnimon. Most fans believe this was due to religious reasons, because they didn't want to include any biblical references like the Alpha and the Omega from the Book of Revelations. Even though it might seem like a small change, it changes the backstory of this Digimon. Some might argue that Omegamon was renamed before Alphamon was introduced, but that doesn't prove that the idea was not thought of long in advance. Digimon fans seem to be okay with both names. Some prefer the first, some the latter, and some are confused if that is in fact the same Digimon. Don't confuse it for an omnivore though. Religious censorship in Digimon is not all in the distant past. All of you gaming fans know about a nun with a gun called Sistermon Noir from the Digimon Cyber Sleuth games released in 2015 and 2017. In American versions of the games, the color of her outfit was changed so she no longer looks like a nun, but let's just casually leave the cleavage out. Censorship at its best. During the 20 years of Digimon existence, we came across all types of angels, demons, devils, including a reference to Lucifer himself. All of them were present in the above-mentioned games, where Sistermon Noir failed to pass the censorship test. Also, Vamdemon being reborn as Venom Vamdemon at exactly 6 hours, 6 minutes and 6 seconds, marking the number of the beast, was not censored or cut, because it would be confusing to cut such a big segment of the episode. Violence happens every day in real life. Can we stop it? Not in a way that would make a big difference, since not everyone would be on board. You can turn a blind eye to it, but that won't save you from getting attacked. The Digimon censorship, or the dub way of removing any form of spoken or physical violence, is joke material, and I mean a lot of jokes.
I can't take all these metaphors!
Violence is probably the most problematic of the mentioned reasons for censorship, because violence is violence. It can't be worded differently to give it a double meaning. It's the lowest trait of someone's personality, yet we all have it deep down. How do we deal with it? With something called voice of reason, and defeating our dark thoughts by doing good. One of the worst examples of violence censorship in anime history is probably Apokalimon's speech. In the dub version, you get a cringy dialogue about pizza crusts.
Why do all of you get the pizza while I get the crust?
While the original version, made for the same target audience, had depth and mystery. Another example would be Galgamon's rampage in the parking space. I can't really do this video without mentioning Bomber Nanimon, the destructive Digimon turned into an orange. The dub version also excluded portrayal of firearms, no matter if they are being used or not. We all hate losing people close to us or people we get attached to. It happens in real world and there is not much we can do about it. I will mention 2 examples where grief was censored in Digimon Adventure, both revolving around Vandemon's saga. We loved Pumpmon and Gotsumon, and it was their death in the anime that shook us, not their imprisonment like what happened in the dub. Same thing happened with Dark Tyrannomon. After Lilymon cured the virus inside him, Vandemon didn't want to put up with him anymore, so he killed him. Or did he just transport him back to the digital world? And of course, one of the biggest tearjerkers in Digimon, Wizardmon's death had certain scenes cut in some versions. Each and every one of these scenes contributed to the story, and that's why Digimon even back then attracted so many different age groups, because it was a reminder of the good and the bad and didn't shy away from real-life problems. Outside of the 3 main topics I covered, there were also some more silly examples of censorship, like how they removed Ethermon's fart attack. Also, alcohol was removed even though it was not used by kids. In Tamer's dub, it became milkshakes, while in Adventures, Nanimon got drunk by drinking soda. 2 boys are not allowed to kiss on the cheek, even if it's incidental. Censorship apparently also had a problem with poop, since they trimmed down everything revolving around Numemon. Also, it seemed like Digimon are not allowed to pee either. I hope you found this video informative. Some of you will agree with censorship decisions, some won't, but in the end, how we see the world and treat other living beings is up to our decisions and actions, not because of something we saw on TV. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link is in the description below. Stay tuned for more Digimon videos. P.S. Make sure to follow my community page on YouTube, as I also post updates about upcoming videos there.